Hello everyone, how are you? So it is that time of year where we are heading into the holidays. And when the holidays come upon us, it can be an amazing time for us to connect with family and friends. And it also, for me, brings in increased some stress, some anxiety, and really can take me off center. My routines are disrupted. I'm engaging maybe with people that I don't tend to engage with on a regular basis. So that can create some anxiety within me. There's the overeating that can occur because we're constantly around food and socializing and maybe having a couple of extra drinks that we don't normally have. I find that holidays, to be honest, for me, I always say to my husband, I don't know why they call it holidays because I never feel rested. So it's definitely not a holiday for me, and I find them very stressful. So I'm so grateful for my love of restorative yoga and coming into the practice to be able to help me with anxiety that comes up either before or after some interactions with people, helps me with digestion, right? Helps me when I'm eating food that I don't normally eat. And I also fall to restorative yoga to help me open my heart. And family can be difficult, and I'm okay to say that. And so when I experience that, I have to always remember to come home to my heart, to remind myself that we're all here doing the best that we can, and approaching everybody with that open and loving heart. So even when sometimes I find these visits or all of this interaction at a time that I sometimes may perceive to be very stressful or create anxiety within me in connecting with family that I haven't seen in a while, I need to come back to my heart and to know that I have that open and loving heart. So restorative yoga can help me connect back to my heart and connect to that openness and not fall into my old patterns of shutting down and closing people out. So I thought, as a gift to all of you who have been so amazing and supportive of me on this journey, that I would share with you today this restorative yoga practice for the holidays. So definitely inviting you, you are welcome to do the whole practice, or even just picking out one or two poses to bring in when you're feeling that need. So I'll talk about the benefits of each pose and what that can offer you. So you might say, oh, that's the pose I need today, and that's the one I'm gonna fit into my schedule. Or nope, I need to do this whole practice just to really allow myself to land. So just inviting you to be open to trying one or all, and it's my gift to you over the holidays to help you ground, to help you keep that open and loving heart, and to also to support the physical body through a very hectic and busy time of year. So for me, obviously, so I've got my props. I have one bolster, 2 blankets, and I have 4 blocks. I'm sitting on 2 blocks right now. And so if you have access to yoga props, have those nearby. If not, for example, a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a nice thick blanket rolled up that can support the body. Or if you have one of those body pillows, maybe wrapping one of those body pillows or a yoga mat in a nice thick blanket, just so that it can support the body. Blankets, and then blocks, you can use books, you can use anything that kind of will give support for you, and you'll see how we use them. And you might not even need the blocks, it's just so I can give some variation to see how your body is in this moment. So yeah, we're gonna come through this practice and just inviting you to give it a shot and see how it helps you through your holiday season. So I'm I'm just going to start by having us land. So sometimes it's nice when I come to my mat to take a few moments to soften my gaze or close my eyes. And just connecting to my breath. Taking a couple nice deep cleansing breaths, especially when I'm sneaking off to grab a pose or two. So inhaling nice and deeply through the nose. And exhaling it all through the mouth. And just bringing my breath in and out through the nose now. Just taking this opportunity to become aware of my breath. To become aware of my thoughts. And the goal in this moment isn't to create that blank mind, that vast of nothingness, as that's pretty near impossible for most people. So the invitation is to acknowledge the thoughts that you have present in the moment. And as you exhale, seeing if you can just let them gently float away. So you've acknowledged them, but then let them leave the mind. Taking this opportunity to see if you can try not to engage in the thought or interact with the thought, but let it be noticed and let it gently leave. And just noticing your inhales and your exhales. And inviting you to tune in and notice the length of your inhalation. And then notice the length of your exhalation. And then inviting you to see if you can equalize the breath. So maybe it is matching the inhalation to the exhalation. Maybe it's reducing an inhalation to match the exhalation or increasing, but just find a way to come to the same count. So if your count is 4, we inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. And letting that inhale and exhale naturally float between one another, but just equalizing the count. And taking 3 more breaths. Falling back to your natural rhythm of breathing. Just noticing the body, the mind. And then allowing your hands to just float to heart center before you come into your practice, and maybe set an intention. So setting an intention of gratitude, setting an intention of letting something go, maybe an interaction over the holidays. Setting an intention of just self-care and self-love in this moment. Bringing that intention into your heart. Bringing that intention into each and every cell of your body. And then just bow down to that beautiful heart, that beautiful intention. Honoring it. And then allowing yourself to release that. And we're moving to our first gentle pose. We're going to move into a heart opening pose. So we're going to come in to, it's just a gentle front extension, a heart opener. We're going to support the body as we move through this, okay? So I'm going to set myself up. So we're going to just take a hold of our bolster and allow the bolster to come lengthwise on the mat. And then I'm going to take a blanket and do a short roll so that it's nice and thick so it can support my knees. So I'm just gently rolling the blanket to a nice tight roll so that it can come under my knees, and then I'm just going to find the right height for the blocks or whatever prop I'm using in order to place the blanket on top, and then I'm going to create a roll for my ankle joints so that my feet are supported when I come in to the pose. So the blanket on the blocks comes under my knees, and then a gentle roll will come under my ankles so that my feet and heels are supported. And then I'm going to draw the bolster to my low back, inhale, lengthen my spine, and then gently roll down so the bolster's between my shoulder blades. And so I have a clock here just to watch the time. I'm going to take my glasses off and bring in my eye pillow just to close out the light so that I can just completely focus inward as I begin to find my way into the pose. So I'm taking a few breaths here just to check in that I'm comfortable, that I'm supported. And if you feel the need to have something underneath the wrists, then just allowing maybe a blanket, or if you have extra eye pillows to slide under to support the wrists. And then gently coming into the pose. Just breathing. Just allowing yourself to find comfort. And just noticing the shoulders. Noticing them as you breathe in, feeling that rise in the belly and the rib cage and the chest. And then feeling that exhale as you soften towards the earth. Just allowing all the tension to begin to be released from the body as you allow yourself to sink deeper and deeper into the pose. There's nothing you need to be doing here. Seeing if you can just allow your thoughts to turn inward. To just bringing into your mind this place of rest and relaxation, knowing that in this moment, as in every moment, you are enough. Just continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. Feeling supported. Staying connected. Just allowing the body to feel heavy towards the earth. letting go of any tension that you may be holding on to. Just allowing yourself to release and let go. Just feeling the body continuing to sink towards the earth, fully supported, feeling the heart opening, that opening to receive love and to give love, feeling connected to self, feeling connected to all that surrounds you. And when you're ready, so you're welcome to stay in the pose, or if you're ready to transition, just slowly starting by bringing the feet onto the mat, just pushing the props out of the way, connecting to the breath, gently releasing your eye pillow, bringing in any movement, and then inviting you to just gently roll to one side. Pausing, taking a few breaths here, and then gently drawing the belly towards the spine, pressing into that upper hand, and slowly rising back to seated. And then we're going to begin to transition to our next pose. So coming into a pose that is amazing for our digestion. So we're going to just take a couple of breaths here before we begin to transition, tuning into the body. Feel the opening that was created in the front body. Noticing any tension that might have been released from the shoulders, doing a gentle roll back and forth. And then looking to set up our next pose, coming into that restorative twist. I'm just going to fold my blanket rectangular long because that's going to come in between my knees. I'm going to start with the bolster on my left hip. So I want to draw the bolster to my left hip so it's following the track of my digestion. And I'm going to bring my knees out in front, taking that blanket and gently sliding it between my knees just to support my hips. And making sure that the blanket has got no wrinkles, that the fringe is at the bottom. And then inhale to lengthen my spine. And as I exhale, gently coming down all the way to the bolster. Noticing my back. And if it feels like, oh, maybe there's a little bit too much of a pull in the back, then lifting the bolster and supporting it with a block. So just giving it a little lift so that I'm not necessarily having such a pull and lengthening in the back. And then allowing myself to release onto the bolster that's supported. So it's just slightly elevated, giving me that extra support so I'm not overstretching the spine. And then allowing my hands to release to the mat. I'm just doing that check-in. Am I comfortable? Am I supported? Remembering that even the slightest irritation will grow to something much larger if I do not ensure complete comfort coming into the pose. So allowing myself now to connect to my breath, taking that inhale to lengthen my spine, and as I exhale, gently releasing towards the earth. This pose is beautiful for our digestion. So if we have eaten too much or not feeling well in the stomach after a Christmas meal or a party, then landing in this pose just can help giving a gentle massage to our internal organs, can help move our digestion, give it that little quick start as we softly have that twist. This is also a nice pose for the spine, very gentle. So just allowing you to breathe into the belly. Maybe even taking those breaths nice and deep into the lungs where we feel the belly rise as we inhale. And as we exhale, feeling the belly draw back towards the spine. So just allowing yourself to soften towards the earth, tuning inward, letting go of what you need to let go of. I find this such a beautiful pose, being so connected to Mother Earth, that anything I'm tired of carrying, I can release to her as I feel safe, supported, and know that she has my back. Just continuing to breathe, staying connected to self. And then when we're ready to transition, just sliding those hands under shoulders, gently turning so our forehead touches the bolster and rising up in a very mindful manner. So not flinging ourselves to seated to switch over, taking our time, pausing for a moment as we begin to move to the opposite side, taking a couple of breaths, tuning in. And then just readjusting the blanket, bringing the bolster up to our right hip, sliding the blanket between our legs, allowing us to bring that hip to the bolster, hands on either side. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And as we exhale, gently release towards the earth, coming all the way down. Taking a moment to notice each side of the body is different. So this side might need a little more movement, might need a little more adjustment, whatever it is. Listen to the body, bring in what you need. And then gently allowing yourself to come back to the breath. Feeling the length in the spine on the inhale. Feeling the body release towards the earth on the exhale. This is also such a beautiful pose for our Manipura Chakra. That chakra that is related to the element of fire. So you might have heard that idea of fire in your belly. So that place of your own personal power. So taking this opportunity in this pose to connect to your own personal power. So it can be a beautiful pose if you're struggling with others, feeling that your voice isn't being heard, feeling that you're not standing in your truth, then allowing this pose to just activate that Manipura Chakra, your solar plexus chakra. Bring yourself into your own personal power. Not aggression, not anger, but finding that strength within you to be true to who you are. And sometimes when we get with family, those patterns can come back of where we become quiet, where we may not speak our own truth. So allowing yourself to access that in this pose. Energetically, it is a beautiful pose to come back to who you are. So breathing into that strength, breathing in to that place of personal power, feeling that fire in your belly, knowing that you are enough, exactly as you are. It's continuing to stay connected to your breath, and then starting to transition out of this pose when you are ready. You're welcome to stay in as long as you need. We again draw hands under shoulders, pressing into the earth, slowly rising up. Allow yourself to become seated on the mat, taking a few breaths. Tune in, noticing how you feel. Just turning your head side to side, rolling through the shoulders, bringing movement in that you need as you begin to transition to your next pose. So we're going to come into a supported child's pose. So as we start to prepare for this pose, it's just nice to create a little roll with your blanket to support underneath the front of the ankles. And then you can have the bolster still supported by a block, or removing the block and have the bolster right on the mat. And then just taking your knees wide, sliding that bolster in between your thighs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Gently begin to draw towards the earth and resting your forehead onto the bolster. Or you can have your left or right ear on the bolster. It's just, if we do that, you want to ensure that you transition from side to side through the pose. I like to use a little eye pillow to support my forehead, and then it gently lifts my forehead off the bolster, and it gives room for my nose so that I can breathe as I land in this pose. So this is such a beautiful pose to find length in our low back. So if we have any tightness in the low back at all, this can create a beautiful lengthening and stretching through the low back, through the spine. Another option, which I don't show here, is you can have a sandbag along your spine to help feel grounded. So this beautiful child's pose is a way to connect to your root chakra, that place of support, that place of safety that can really help you feel rooted and grounded and connected and safe. It's also a beautiful pose to help reduce anxiety as we start to tune out the external and draw inward to ourselves, letting go of all of that external noise, all of that chatter, all of that stimulation, and just bring all of our focus, our awareness into our own heart. So as you inhale, feel that length in your spine, and as you exhale, just release gently to the earth. There's nothing you need to do here. Just allowing yourself to release, to let go. Reconnect to your heart. Come home to your heart. Be true to who you are, letting go of everything that has come at you over these holidays, and just allow yourself to be in the stillness. With each breath sinking closer and closer to the earth, just allowing yourself to be in this moment. Strengthening that connection to your heart. Knowing there's nothing to do. And when you're ready, just gently allow your hands to come to the earth, taking a few breaths to reconnect to yourself. We're not rushing. And then sliding hands under shoulders as we gently draw up, moving the bolster out of the way. And just allow the spine to move through some cat and dog tilts if that would feel good. Move the hips. Maybe it's a downward facing dog for a moment. Listening to the body. What does it need? And then gently coming back down to seated. And just letting yourself come back to seated. Taking a couple of breaths here. Bringing hands to heart center. Connecting to the heart. Namaste.